If you are a part of Black Lives Matter, it's time to party. When you look at the numbers, let's get excited and party if you support Black Lives Matter. I know that might sound strange coming from me on this channel, but if you celebrate Black Lives Matter, it should be a time to celebrate, because what you wanted is coming true. Your dreams of defunding the police, and I can show you an example in a major city and others. I'm going to use Chicago as an example here. You should be partying in the streets. Why aren't you celebrating? This was more important than anything. Who cares? Who cares if you don't have baby formula? Joe Biden won, and Black Lives Matter wanted to defund the police. And look at Chicago. They look defunded. Everyone should be in the streets partying. You shouldn't even be worrying about Roe v. Wade. You should be just like Kamala Harris when she found out it was final. We did it, Joe. We did it.
We did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe. We did it.
You're going to be the next president of the United States.
You're going to be in the city.
We did it.
We did it, Patrice Cullors. We did it, Chicagoans. You're going to be a resident. Peace. We did it. That was the goal, wasn't it? Own it. Be happy about it. Celebrate it. The number of officers who have left Chicago's police force is staggering. Isn't that what you wanted? Isn't that like Christmas to you? You've been rallying for it the whole time, and I don't hear anybody celebrating it. Be happy. This is what you wanted. Isn't it?
So does that mean you support proposals like what we've seen in Los Angeles, Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million, invest it in health initiatives, training initiatives for youth?
Yes, take the money from policing and invest it somewhere else. That's what you wanted, right? Some of you wanted abolition. We're not there yet.
Right now, what we're seeing in America is many cities spend over 1/3 of their entire city budget on policing. But meanwhile, we've been defunding public schools for years in America. We've got to re-examine what we're doing with American taxpayer dollars and ask the question, are we getting the right return on our investment? Are we actually creating healthy and safe communities? And that's a legitimate conversation, and it requires a really...
So people, so I'm going to come back to that clip. So people would say, well, you don't even know. You don't even know what defund the police really means. Okay, tell me, what does it mean?
He's painted in large yellow letters. There are a lot of people out there who hear defund the police and think it means abolishing a police department.
Oh, so it doesn't mean abolishing. So it's just reallocating funds. Does it mean abolishing to some people, though?
Abolish the police. It sounds pretty out there. But scholars like Angela Davis, Mariam Kaba, Ruth Wilson Gilmore, and others have been studying police and prison abolition for decades. Recent events have put the movement to abolish police at the forefront of public debate like never before. So what does it mean?
Before I give you the stats of what's happening in Chicago and why I say that this group should be celebrating right now, I just want to lay the groundwork so we remember what they want.
To abolish the police. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that policing just isn't working.
They were in the streets for this. All, gas prices, rent. I was talking to somebody, their rent went up 40%, and they're not in the streets for that. They're in the streets for this. So this is the Super Bowl to defund the police. That's going to solve everything.
And it's especially not working for black people in America.
There's a hugely disproportionate impact on black and brown communities.
Why is it always the lightest skin? I don't I'll just stop this for a second, man. I think my white wife is darker than this, bruh.
In terms of policing and who has negative interactions with police. So certainly police disproportionately brutalize and kill Black and brown Americans.
And the statistics back this up. Black people are 3 times more likely to be killed by police than white people.
So they're selling you right now that the police force in general is just out here trying to beat the ass of Black people specifically. That's what they do, right? The police force is just out here just randomly beating the ass of Black people. Is that what you're trying to sell me? I mean, if you had a reasonable take, maybe we could talk about the problems. Black people are 3 times more likely to be killed by police. So are they targeting Black people on purpose? Oh my goodness. There's no logic, again, makes no sense. We don't talk about, okay, do we have stats? What does that really mean? What does defund the police really mean? What does abolition really mean? I don't know. Listen to them talk about it.
Can you start off by defining abolition?
Sure. I mean, it's a simple definition, which is abolition is getting rid of police, prisons, jail, surveillance, and the current court system as we know it.
It's right there. So this clown defined what abolition means. We knew what it meant, but I wanted them to define it. So I'm being generous in saying defund the police. The leader of the crew, the one that got the cribs and the money and the power and then fled, that one and then cried when a pregnant Candace Owens came outside her crib. She's got security. She has private security and a gate. And she lives around white people. And she's on Instagram crying because a pregnant baby bump and everything could pop at any moment. Candace Owens came to her front gate. She's literally on Instagram like, oh my. And this is the leader of the crew. So let's go to like real people, like what really happens. Enough with the nonsense. Let's bring it to the reality of the situation. That's what I care about. Let's use Chicago as an example. You could use a lot of cities as an example. Look at these numbers. Absolutely, absolutely insane. These are the numbers over the last couple years of the Chicago police force. In 2019, 619 police left the force. This is before, obviously, one of the craziest moments in the history of the world, this George Floyd thing where everybody just went bat-ish insane. 619 people left, 444 joined. So that's already kind of bad enough. You're bleeding out numbers. 2020, 705 left and 161 joined. That's getting ugly. In 2021, 900 Chicago officers left the force and 51 joined. So it should be clear, if that was your position, you're living in utopia. They're going to, if you're an abolitionist, you're trying to get there. If you're a defund the police, you're trying to get there. So you're getting there. Budgets slashed. Officers chased off the force. You're putting a pot, you're boiling a pot. That's what you're doing. And then people leave. So let's analyze what the consequences of this action is. Like, things don't happen in a vacuum. There are consequences to this. So I said, congrats to BLM supporters. You've successfully boiled down urban law enforcement to the worst of the worst. Are you feeling safer yet? Ben tweeted, and remember, the ones who stayed were the ones who couldn't get jobs somewhere else. Yeah. So the people who could retire left. The good cops left. And now what you're left with is an understaffed urban neighborhood with corrupt flunk-ass cops who work for the government. And I'm going to get to this in a second. The rich neighborhoods got the good cops that left, and then some of those good cops went to private security firms, and the rich neighbors are buying their own police force now. You've helped increase inequity that we've never seen before. That's what you ended up doing. You have to when you call for action, I'm not going to blame you for doing that, because a lot of people did that from the goodness of their heart. But you need to take a step to pause and figure out, okay, 2020, let's reevaluate where we are. What happened? Let's do an honest assessment. Maybe we made some mistakes. So the initial mistake is forgivable. If you don't analyze this, if you ignore topics like this, and tell me where I'm wrong, of course, if I'm wrong. If you ignore this self-assessment, this breakdown, how did things go? Did it go the way we wanted to go? What were the ramifications? Where do we go next? If you don't do that analysis, you're still heading down a path that can get even darker than where we are right now. Don't think it can't get worse is the first thing that I would recommend. So in Chicago, the crime is so bad at the Magnificent Mile that nobody goes down there anymore. Have you talked to anybody in Chicago? They don't go down there. It used to be the nicest. I haven't been down to the Magnificent Mile since 2014-ish, 2013, 14-ish. Got all the nice stores. Parking was like, I don't know, I think it was like $40 to $60 a park somewhere. But all the nice stores, you could walk down. You got the Billy Goat bar or whatever. Nobody going down there. Are you crazy? Nobody's going down there to chill anymore. Memorial Weekend, they're talking about, they reported that an internal memo sent to officers states all days are off, or all days offered to be canceled for 1 week between May 24th and 31, along with the possibility of being put on 12-hour work shifts during that time if operational needs arises. So not only do you have the worst of the worst, the flunky of the flunky, you've got the Derek Chauvins of the Derek Chauvins out there. Likes to fight guy, drug dealers in my pocket guy. I can't put cuffs on a kid that weighs 80 pounds soaking wet guy, like happened with Dante Wright. You've got all those, the flunky all-stars left, and now they're working extra hours on top of that. So they're the flunkies, they're tired. And let's look at what's going on with the more well-off communities. Wall Street Journal. In Chicago, wealthy neighborhoods hire their own private police as crime rises. So you forced, if this is going to be a white pill, I am going to end with a white pill on this, but you forced them there. You did that. You forced them into getting their own private force. Happy? Maybe I see now why you're not celebrating. One of your leaders in Congress, Cori Bush, famously said, hey, I got to live. I don't know about y'all. We're going to have to defund the police, but I got private security because my life is important. With the famous clip within 30 seconds, hypocrisy at astounding levels within 30 seconds. Here's one of your defund the police champions, Cori Bush.
Get that off. The thing. I won't let them get that off. You can't get that off. I'm going to make sure I have security because I know I have had attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. There are too many people that need help right now for me to allow that. So if I end up spending $200,000, if I spend $10 more on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police and put that money into social safety.
I give her a lot of credit for that segue. She seriously segued from, I could spend 200,000 not on a house, not on living, not on food, just on security. I could spend 200K because I got to live. And then for y'all in those poor urban areas, because rich people, like I just showed you, they buying their own security too. The police are going to those areas. In your areas,
200,000. If I spend 10 more dollars on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work.
To do the work. That's one of the phrases that they use a lot. To do the work. What about the people in the urban areas, Cori Bush?
So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police and put that money into social safety nets.
Great. Do you remember I did a video on New York where they brought in the fake cops to do a traffic stop, and this guy gets out of the car in a pink jumpsuit and sandals with socks on. I'm not lying. This really happened. He got out. I think it was 3 of the fake cops. It was 2 guys in the car, but it was only the guy in the pink jumpsuit who got out swinging. He got out of his car swinging. It was 1-on-3. And he immediately gave him that work. These fake cops. He said, y'all, he's in his head. He's looking, y'all fake cops. He got up. He was like, whap, 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 and drove off. I didn't get the clip. I should have got the clip. I apologize. He got out the car. I'm serious. Search the channel for, I think it was called New York or something like that. It's on Odyssey. I got it on Odyssey because it's one of my more watched videos on Odyssey. That's why I think of Odyssey first. I should have got that clip. He literally got out the car and immediately started swinging on the dudes. That's the fake cops. That's what they want to do. They want to take the money from the real cops and give you some fake cops. While Cori Bush has the private security are elite cops. And don't forget that it matters that those cops report to Cori Bush. They don't report to the government. I'm going to see if I can play this clip here because I want to remind people of this one here. Let's see if it plays properly through the browser and all that. Who knows? That's what this is stemming from directly.
The civilian traffic department, a bunch of fucking people with gender studies degrees jump out. They go, "Excuse me, sir. You have tapped this other vehicle. I need to see your license and registration." And the dude jumps out and starts beating the shit out of them.
A few weeks back, Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, instructed the NYPD to stop conducting traffic stops and instead leave the job to newly hired civilian traffic agents who immediately got that work by one dude. This is not acceptable. I don't live in New York, and I demand that they become a different country. That's not acceptable. You think I'm going to travel and visit? Let me see if I can find here's the clip here. Let me show you that I'm not lying. If you have not seen this, he came out and he had some work. Cori Bush was talking about, I'm doing that work. No, you're not doing this type of work. This dude was doing work. He's kicking them away. It's like 3 versus 2, but the one guy is just kicking, swinging the fake cops off of him, gets back in his car and then goes away, drives away. And I'm like, damn, that's messed up. That must be the UK. Like, because to my knowledge, I don't think all their police carry guns over there. I'm not an expert. Let me know if you know. I don't think they carry guns over there. So I'm like, damn, they got crazy stuff going on in the UK. I even text my brother, if a guy like that, and the guy was black, it looked like, the video's not very clear, but the guy was black in a pink jumpsuit, big looking guy. If that happened in America, it would have been over. That's what we were texting back and forth. Like, dang, that's messed up how the UK does things. It happened in America. It happened in New York City. Not just America, the true capital of our country. A guy in a pink, this is defund the police. a guy in a do-rag and a pink jumpsuit gets out of a car and he's looking for the fake cops to go after them. That last cop was trying to get away, or fake cop. And he's like, you ain't getting away from this. And he found him. And he just took him out. And then got in his car and peeled off like nothing happened. It's not funny, but what do you want me to do? I'm going to go through this thread real quick, and this will be the takeaway. It's a white pill moment. I'm going to have to be out, so I can't read too many chats, but it's a white pill moment. It really is. Who would have thought? I would have never in my life would I have predicted that Black Lives Matter would have brought us more to anarcho-capitalism. That's what's happened. So in Chicago, wealthy neighborhoods are hiring their own private police force, and that's a good thing. That's what anarcho-capitalism is. Don't get me wrong. There are negative sides to this. It's privatizing everything, taking rid of the government at all levels, but private industry can become government. So don't let anybody, including Michael Malice, sell you as like an ANCAP has the ultimate answer for utopia. No, it could turn into the similar type of thing if you don't have checks and balances. But that's a good thing. Your neighborhood gets together and says, you know what, the government can't handle this. Let's hire police force. It costs money. But the next step is, I got to buy my own police force. Why am I paying taxes again? That's the next step. Let's do baby steps, one step at a time. We'll get there. So I had Michael Malice. I was like, Michael, I found another white pill. Black Lives Matter push people towards anarcho-capitalism. Celebrate with me. Let me know what you think. What's good? I got to pick up my kid from school, so I just want to talk about Black Lives Matter, and it's crazy. Unbelievable what's happened. Thanks for stopping by. The Tippinator R says, trained, proud Marxist. And she lived up to that Marxism label well. She lived well. She's eating well. She's drinking wine. She's got the crib. She's got the fence. All excelling by amassing capital. Kind of like capitalism. And y'all plebs go fend for yourselves. I'm an abolitionist. No police. Just private security for those who can afford it. The Tippinator R says they can't keep up with the problem, and the problem is a lack of leadership. Yep. The leadership has been corrupted because people like Patrisse Cullors are very powerful, influential people, and the government says we got to control those type of people. If those type of people are not under our control, like in a different way, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't think she is under the control of at least the same government interests that support this nonsense. If you don't control them, then you might get some leadership. And people do need leadership. Cameron S. says, if we could reduce the lethality of people, it's like God needs to do a reset. Yeah, I don't know how you do that, but yeah, I would be 100% for that. The Tippinator R says, just a couple years ago, she had the commander commit suicide in his office. I didn't even know that. I did not know that. I have to look that up. Wow. Chicago was never this bad. Again, from the Tippinator R. Chicago used to be known as friendly people, and now I won't go anywhere near the city. Oh, hell no. Now, there are times I will go down into urban areas, only daytime at this point, and still on alert, but in like big events, like a concert or something like that. Still not 100% safe, but it's the safest time to go. But I'm not just willy-nilly going down to urban areas. That's for damn sure. Nowhere in this country. Tippinator R says Cook County has pushed its borders as far as they can take in to take the tax money. Yep. And we're seeing crime spill out. Talked about that, it was the shootout at that mall a little while back. Very rare that you saw that kind of stuff come to the suburbs. And that's why you see some people getting their own police force. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Let me know what you think. Take care.